Hi and welcome to Real Reviews, where I'm going to be talking about Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is currently out on Apple TV Plus and stars action legend Kurt Russell, his son Wyatt Russell and Christopher Heyerdahl. And beyond that, it's all about monsters and Godzilla. So let's get into it, shall we? Right, so whatever your opinion of Godzilla versus King Kong, Skull Island, there is a connection in Monarch to that, or any of the other associated Godzilla movies, or going further back into the 60s and the 50s and the 40s even, with the idea of stop motion and sort of monster mash movies such as they were, and this Japanese fascination with the character. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is very much not really all about that. It doesn't really show anything different in terms of the way you've seen the creatures represented in previous incarnations. It is very much a case of the humans versus whatever titan comes out of the ocean, and what you essentially have is this multi-generational family drama which jumps between the 50s and 2014, so just under 10 years away from present day, and Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt Russell play both sides of the same character. Obviously Wyatt is the younger version of Lieutenant Lee Shaw, whereas Kurt Russell is very much the older version, and it's about family, shall we say, miscommunications, and it's about, it's about how things maybe aren't as cut and dried within relationships as one might actually want them to be, and to a certain extent this does hamper things, especially in the first maybe couple of episodes. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that. Let's get into that next. So another issue that comes up quite early on, and is quite apparent, is the fact that there's an awful lot of foundation laying going on. There's a lot of character introductions, there's a lot of jumping around between continents, there's a lot of jumping around between timelines, and slowly but surely these elements are all pieced together. But that, as I said right at the end of the last section, is what ultimately slows this thing down. What does bring it back into gear and it kicks it up a notch is the arrival of Kurt Russell in the early stages, middle stages of episode 3, and he really, for a guy who is quite literally, an older generation, he really does bring some action star, sort of movie star charisma to the screen here, and really, it sort of jolts you into paying attention and engages the audience in ways which unfortunately his son just didn't do, and Wyatt Russell maybe doesn't get the meaty elements, he doesn't get the, pursuit, and he doesn't have the baggage, he doesn't have the audience faith, he doesn't have their trust, which his father does, because after 40 years of pumping out action movies and doing character films and proving himself to be just really good on screen, and really, a unique actor, there's an awful lot of good faith, which that's bought him, and if anything, that is what gives Monarch its much needed adrenaline jab to the chest. As we get into episode 3, and you start to find out various, shall we say, machinations and plots and sort of subplots which are drawing everything together. But ultimately, for me, I'm not entirely convinced that this is a brilliant show. It's a good show, but it's treading water. I'm not, as I said, wholly convinced that this is going to be, this is a make or break series in terms of people needing to see it. So I'm going to jump into my rating and explain that a little bit more next. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, but with reservations. Reservations being that it really does deliver nothing particularly original in terms of expanding the genre as it stands. I think it's slow off the blocks in terms of building backstory, of providing a foundation, of world building. I mean, there's an awful lot of world building that goes into this, and it seems to just, as I said, tread water. It doesn't get to where it needs to be quickly enough. And for that reason, yes, it's a 4 because there are, you've got lavish production designs, you've got decent visual effects, you've got Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell on screen, pretty much throughout, and it's a globe-trotting family drama, but with monsters. So yes, it does deserve the 4, but by the same token, it probably deserves something slightly less, because it takes, as I said, as I've said probably the 3rd time now, it takes a great deal of time to get off the blocks. So, I have my reservations, but that's where I'm going to sit. I'm going to sit at a 4, maybe a 3.5, 3.5 to 4. Right, that's it. I'm moving on. Stick around. Right, so it is, you lucky people, you have come to the end of the video for Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is currently doing the rounds on Apple TV Plus and stars Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell. So this is the bit where I'm going. If you like the video, then you just click on the thumb, give me a like. If you'd like to check out my Patreon page, then you can do that. It's just below the main image, and give the link a click. Failing that, you could just subscribe so that every Tuesday and every Saturday when I drop another one of these videos, then you'll get a little notification, and then you can drop in and listen to or watch as much or as little as you like, and then go about your day. Until then, make sure to check out the rest of the channel. Take care now.